Hello. All right. Good audio level. Can everyone hear me? All right. Well, welcome. My name is Brennan Curie. I'm the Director of Audience at New Bedford Light, and welcome to UMass Dartmouth CVPA Star Store campus for the 5th meeting of the New Bedford Light Fine Arts Club. Yay! Hey, has anyone here been to all 5? Anyone? No, the first 2 were on Zoom, so they were a little easier to get to, but we're excited to be here. We've kind of hopped around in the city to a couple of different locations. We were at DOCA, we were at Hatch Street Studios, and now we're here downtown celebrating the different areas of New Bedford's amazing art scene. So we're excited to have you all here. If you're not familiar with the New Bedford Light, we launched in the summer of 2021. We are a non-profit, non-partisan, always free, local online news outlet. We have a staff of 10 journalists, and we dive deep into the stories that matter most to our community. And then we also take the time to celebrate the cultural richness that makes New Bedford such a special place. So this falls into the culture side. So no investigative stories tonight, don't worry. No hard questions, we promise. So tonight, 7 local artists will present 2 pieces of their work. We'll get to hear about their background and their creative process. And if there's anything that catches your eye, maybe something that would look good on your mantle, it's all for sale. Please approach the artist directly to make a purchase. And all their contact information is in your program. If you didn't get one, we have more programs over here on the table. They also have pictures of the art. You can take them home. Maybe something a couple days later from now, you keep waking up in the morning like, man, that piece would look good in my house. Give them a call, send them an email, lots of contact information, reach out to them on Instagram, whatever it is. We also have some refreshments in the back, bottles of water, a little bit of snacks, so help yourself at any point. And I'd also like to invite everyone to stick around after the presentations. We'll have what we call the afterglow, which is kind of a discussion about the local arts. And then also one of our hosts here, Devin Nived, has this awesome project over here, collaborative painting that everyone can take part and add their hand to. So let me introduce our hosts. We have Taylor Hickey. Taylor is a printmaker, bookmaker, and sculptor working here in New Bedford. Born in Southeast Texas, she earned a bachelor's degree in drawing and printmaking from McNeese State University in Louisiana. She went on to earn a master's of fine arts in printmaking from UMass Dartmouth in 2021, developing a body of work which pays homage to the human endeavor in order to understand the universe at large. And Devin Nived McLaughlin. There we go. Give it up for Devin. He is a multifaceted artist based here in New Bedford. He uses an array of styles and mediums in his art, ranging from classical to abstract. A South Coast native, he is inspired by the mix of post-industrial cities, rural landscapes, and the Atlantic Ocean. His passions lie in connecting and developing creative communities and cultivating an appreciation for the arts. He is frequently involved in teaching painting workshops and educating individuals through schools, museums, and private instruction. And now I will hand it over to Taylor and Devin.
Thank you, Brendan.
Hey, welcome everyone. So we're going to get started pretty quickly here, but we do want to go over a little bit about how this works. Pretty much the way that we're going to run the night is that each artist is going to come up and they're going to have just 5 minutes to talk about their 2 pieces of artwork. They'll be able to give their feedback on what they were thinking when they were creating the pieces, talk about their body of work, and they're also supposed to add a little bit of room at the end so that people can ask questions. If they go over and you don't have enough time to ask any questions through the Q&A section, you can always ask those questions directly to the artist at the afterglow, which is after we're done with all the artists today. All right? And we're going to be doing a little bit of transitioning in between. We're going to take the artwork off the easels for the next artist. During that time, you guys can go and grab some snacks. There's some hummus over there and some water at the back. And I do want you guys to take a look at your little brochures here. That has all of the information for the artists on it, which was mentioned. If you flip to the first page, you'll see the first artist is going to be Barbara. All right, Barbara Healy is from Dartmouth. She has 2 pieces today. Walking on Water and Starry Night NB. And before she comes and starts her piece, I would ask everybody please to silence your phones. It's an easy thing to forget, but we have definitely had some loud ringing happen during presentations before. So Barbara, are you ready? Here we go.
Thank you for having me. I'm a painter from Dartmouth, Mass. I earned my BFA from UMass Dartmouth, but I was at the Dartmouth campus many years ago. I grew up in Connecticut and came here to go to school. My paintings reflect quiet in a complicated life. I like the peaceful and are inspired by the diverse colors of life and the beautiful coastal landscape where I live. I frequently paint plein air using all my senses to share my vision. I was out painting this morning in Westport and on the Cape on Monday. My paintings capture that feeling of peace and joy that nature gives. It is not only the beauty of nature that inspires me, but nature's resilience and strength. I like to paint landscapes. I look for what is unique to convey a sense of place. And although often evoked by a fleeting moment, I translate in paint to transcend time. I wanted something that you can capture and look at over and over again. I also want to get a feeling of a place, not a photograph. As one of my favorite painters, David Dunlop, said, a painting should be a poem, not a police report. Brushstrokes over glimpses of color intentionally reveal some of the painting process. I try not to paint every detail, just what is essential. I use vibrant glowing color to kindle memories of places that we have been. And so the one that's up here is Walking on Water. And I love to go to the beach and walk the beach. And I love the reflections of water. To try to get in paint, as you can see, when you're projecting in light, it's easier to get that feeling of light than to get it in paint. So you really have to push the contrast and push the color a little bit to get that feeling of the warmth. So a lot of times my paintings start with a color underneath that had bright orange underneath, and a little bit of it shows through, and that gives it the feeling of warmth of the afternoon sun. Walking on the beach brings calm to many, especially at the time of sunset, and it's a 16 by 20 inch painted on linen. And I think it captures the feeling of peace at that magical time of day. And this one is Starry Night in Bedford. And this painting was inspired by a small painting of the New Bedford Whaling Museum cupola that was done from the window of the Bristol County Savings Bank across the street. A few of my paintings were chosen for the bank renovation. And I have to thank Jensen Torrey for that. He was the person who helped them pick artwork and find a place for it there. And I have 3 paintings upstairs, they're reproductions, they did a lovely job. And they invited me as the artist to come during their AHA reception when it opened. And I didn't really want to just stand there and go, hi, I'm the artist. So I bought a tarp so I wouldn't get anything on the floor like that. And I painted out the window, and I painted a little oil painting of the cupola looking out the window. So it looked like that, but it was very small. But that was painted from life, and it was looking at the cupola across the street. And I had it in my mind for a long time, that cupola, and thinking about the sky over New Bedford. And I think when people think of history of New Bedford, it's such a unique place, and what makes New Bedford unique is its historic buildings, like the Whaling Museum, and the stories and the history of whaling here. How many people over a couple hundred years have looked in the sky over that Whaling Museum and thought of whales. Now we think of them in a different way than the people who went to catch them and kill them, which is a good thing. the historic building, connecting New Bedford's past and present. And this one is acrylic, and I will say that was kind of, I like to explore different mediums. I'm primarily oil painting, the other is oil. I needed to get this done quickly for a show at Gallery X. That was the Moby Dick show. And so it needed to get done quick, and I didn't have time for oil to dry, so I'm doing it in acrylic.
Nice. Very good. Awesome. Thank you, Barbara. We have a few seconds here, so if anybody would like to ask Barbara any questions about her piece or have any comment or feedback, that would be much appreciated. Any questions? One thing I noticed about your piece is you have such a way of mastering the luminosity of your colors. They tend to jump out at you, and I think that's really charming. Even with acrylic versus the oil, you can still see that brightness coming through with those purples in the bottom there. Gorgeous. Absolutely great work. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Barbara.
All right. So next up, we've got Michael Yurkovsky. I hope I'm saying that correctly. This is an artist from Taunton. I'm loving the curtain. It's like making for a big reveal. It's like a magician moment.
Thank you for your patience, guys. That works.
We just needed a bigger boat.
Hey guys, pardon me if I'm a little bit on edge. I got into a car accident earlier, but all is well. Got to deal with that, but thankfully I have insurance. My name is Michael Yurkovsky. I have been an artist since I have been 12 years old. I painted all through elementary school. I gave it up in middle school, high school, and college. I gave it up, thank you. I gave it up in middle school, high school, and college, just because that kind of activity wasn't necessarily encouraged in my family. family kind of wanted me to pursue, like, I guess, more masculine activities, and so that was something I had to let go. But then I got back into it after graduating college, getting my own apartment and getting a place to myself. I'm like, this could use some decor, and bought a white canvas and just painted my childhood dreams onto it. So the concepts behind it, this is the Wrath of Poseidon. This is my first piece. As you can see, we got the Greek god Poseidon emerging from the waters and destroying a sailing boat. The inspiration behind it was actually a game I used to play. It's called Age of Mythology. That's what I kind of used as a reference. As a child, I was always fascinated by Greek mythology and the work behind it, and also like just the culture too and the customs behind it. Then to my left is my most latest piece, Castle in the Sky. The inspiration behind it was as a child, I always watched Disney movies and was very fascinated by magic kingdoms and Disney prince and princesses, and always envisioned myself to be a Disney prince. I don't think I'm ever going to own a castle. I don't think I really want to, but I decided to kind of bring my childhood dream to life. Both of these pieces took about a month of work. This one definitely took a lot more work. Definitely a lot of patience and time. I had to use a ruler to make sure everything had been straightened out and is perfectly symmetrical. The way that I went about this piece is I divided it into quadrants, identified my center point, and then kind of drew lines to kind of signify where the actual towers will be placed, and then went from there. So it was a lot of work, a lot of patience, a lot of bottles of wine I drank. But nonetheless, I got these two completed to present to you guys today. Any questions? Yes.
How long did the castle take?
The castle?
Yeah, like the whole thing. Like you said you did it in quadrants, but like how long did it actually take?
62 hours and counting. 62 hours. I actually counted too. Yes.
So, is it acrylic or oil?
Acrylic. Both of these are acrylic. Anybody else?
Michael, can you talk to us a little bit about the details you have on the framework on these? It looks like you have some embellishments and you chose them specifically, it feels
Yes. So actually both of these frames, I got it at Michael's, had it custom framed. I'll be honest with you, they are very pricey, so they're about like $400 each. This one I actually went a step above, and I had used like a glittering spray to spray around the outline, and then I also, with a hot glue gun, glued pearls and roses to it. I have in the corner a prince, and then in the right corner I had a princess, but unfortunately that broke off on my way here, so I'm gonna have to reattach it. Literally as I was like getting it out of my car, I bumped the side of the car and then that fell off. But it's in my pocket, I'll just gotta reattach it. Just goes to show you gotta be very delicate with these things.
Can we see the princess?
Oh yeah, actually, it's right here. It's in my pocket, so yeah, the Disney prince is kind of incomplete here, but like I said, I'll reattach it.
Beautiful, Michael. Do we have any more questions from the audience?
Thank you guys.
All right, thank you guys. So we are going to be doing that same kind of transition to art thing. The next artist that we have up is going to be Susan Dragon. All right, so Susan, if you can come up and we'll get your artwork all set up. Susan's based out of New Bedford, and she has two pieces that she's going to be talking about: Dream to Reality and Lost but Cannot Be, but Can Be Found. There we go, but can be found. So those are the next two that are going to be going up.
But anywho, my name is Susan. Nice to see you all. My kind of style is really whimsical. As a child, I really wasn't a big fan of this world. So I would just escape into fantasy and just imagine beautiful places without any limitations of any kind. So my fairy actually is representing someone that is in search of so much more than what is presented in front of her or him. She will fly into a different realm to gather information and to master the art of being a magician. And as she does, she comes back to her favorite place, which is nature, and I'm a big nature girl and I love the beach as well. I believe that the properties that Mother Gaia has is incredibly profound to us, our soul, our mind, our health, and places that are very unknown is scary and will be very known when you take the time to just root yourself and have these vivid imaginations and work the confidence within you to do just about anything that you master and how to become the fool. So with the magician and the fool, you can transform your dream into whatever the reality that you want it to be. And I did this all in oil paints, and that is my favorite, even though I do a mixture of everything else like sketches or ink, pen and ink, acrylic, watercolor, and so forth. But painting with oils for me teaches me patience. It takes me to a place of the now and to just welcome that moment and just being grateful in that moment of just flowing. So that's her. Very delicate, but yet she's not very too fragile. She's just her and becoming who she wants to be. Lost but can be found. Well, that to me is really reflecting my adversities that I've encountered, even as a young child, always looking to fit in, looking for the right situation, friends, and always looking and searching on the outside instead of looking inward and having these expectations that sometimes are just unrealistic. And as along the way, I think sometimes we break our own hearts because we're always seeking outside of us instead of inward. And if you look at the yellow path, the golden path there, that to me is lined up with beautiful flowers that symbolizes that it blossoms at its own time and it's not in competition, and somehow you fit in and you're beautiful no matter what the challenges and the adversities are. And the flying monkey, well, the illusion that you're not enough when you really are. And the tin to me obviously just represents, you do have a choice. You could be either happy, loving, and satisfied with who you are, or you become cold and hard and bitter. And I love is the Cupid, because the Cupid, I think, just reminds me to just replenish myself with my own love instead of relying on others to complete me. So again, oil, and that's really it.
Beautiful work, Susan. Do we have any questions, comments from the audience? I feel like you just took us on a journey. I love it. It's so like wholesome and sort of introspective. It's like a journey, like for yourself.
It is. Well, my life's taken a different turn. I've decided to just take a whole different career, and being divorced now for 5 years, it was just time for the new me. And what is that new? I didn't know who that new is, but for the longest time I was suppressing the real me, and the real me was just being free to express myself in a way that symbolically what I do now is my focus is wanting to raise the vibration and awareness to humanity that no matter what you do, be creative, whatever that is, and let your love flow. And I'm also an author and an illustrator of children's books. I'm on my second one. So my first one's called Worthiness, and my second one is Beauty of Naya, and it's about the mermaids and humanity coming together to save Naya, which is the body of water, and how do you do that, and how do you come together? And it's about love and gratitude, and yeah, so here I am.
So our next artist is going to be Caitlin Tripp.
Thank you so much, Susan.
Let's switch our paintings out. Is this on? Is this on? Yes. Hi. Hi guys. I'm Caitlin Tripp with Art by Caitlin. I am an artist based out of Fall River, Massachusetts, and I've been painting and drawing since I was a child, but this year is my first year as a small business, so that's exciting. I've been trying to do it full-time this year, but I am drawn to bright colors, and as you can see in my pieces here, I've also been described as a whimsical, fun and playful artist with my colors. So my first piece here is an abstract, and it's a rainbow, like geometric, and it's my second piece in a series I've been working on. I started doing more abstract pieces a couple years ago. I'm very drawn to the geometric shapes, especially like in the imperfect shapes. So they're not super perfect, which I like about that. When I first started this piece, I started with the black pieces and just used paint strokes. When it's the opposite way, I was going down and using the black paint, and then the other way around, I ended up using the acrylic more as a wash and letting the paint kind of drip down, which was fun. So it was very freeing making this piece, and then I used acrylic paint pens to put the geometric shapes. So this was a very fun piece. I was happy to do it, and yeah, that's that piece there. And okay, this is a very fun piece. I actually did this piece at Play Arcade a couple months ago. They had at AHA night. I was able to paint this piece live in front of people while people were passing by down on Union Street over there. And so that's what really inspired the piece, was to have it at Play Arcade, since it's video game inspired, and Pac-Man is looking over the New Bedford Harbor, so I thought it was appropriate, a fun piece, just kind of meshing two things together. It's kind of what I do. A lot of things that aren't supposed to go together end up going together. If you end up going on my website too, you'll see a lot of my pieces are space themed, astronauts, and lollipop moon. So you see Pac-Man's got a lollipop moon above him, and again, that's like a theme that I have in a lot of my pieces. I always thought that the lollipop looked like a moon, or vice versa. If you bite into a lollipop, you'll see little craters, and the textures just they look like each other. So just a fun way just to add something that's not supposed to be there, and just and include that in my pieces. But yeah, so this one is acrylic. Sorry, this larger one is acrylic and varnish and framed, and then that one is also acrylic, but they're both wired, ready to be hung, ready to be on someone's wall. So yeah, that's it.
Beautiful work, Caitlin. Whoa, louder than I thought. I feel like all this work is so fantastical tonight. I absolutely love it. Caitlin also killed it at karaoke at Play Arcade, by the way. Equally talented singer and artist. Do we have any questions, comments from our audience? I love what you mentioned.
Is Pac-Man on a black canvas?
He is not. So a lot of times I do end up painting my canvas black when I start off my pieces. So it started off as I painted it black, and then went and did the color, yeah.
What's your reason for painting it black first and then the detail on?
It's a good question. So honestly, like when I paint the canvas black, I just imagine like it's supposed to be space. Like space is not colorful, so like I just kind of instantly make the canvas black first. But there's no, when I made the Pac-Man piece, I really didn't know what the sky was gonna look like. But I do feel like it was a good choice painting it black first, because it did make the colors pop a little bit more. But I just kind of my go-to method, yeah, painting it black first.
Very cool. Any more questions? I just love that lollipop moon. My eyes keep being drawn back to it. So cool. Oh, Caitlin, I was going to ask, you mentioned earlier that you would be in Providence at Waterfire this weekend, right?
Yeah, so I have a couple events coming up. This is a busy time of year, so I'm going to be at a couple of markets, but the next one, so today is Thursday, so Sunday I will be at the Waterfire Art Center, yeah, that's in Providence, and they're having a market, so the Providence Artisans Market will be having a huge holiday event. There's gonna be so many people there, and many artists, like over 100 artists will be there, including myself, so maybe you guys can come to that event.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that. Our next artist is going to be Tara Heap. Tara's from Boston, and the two pieces that she's going to be putting up are called Skull from a Farm and Freddy in Orange. Those pieces are going to be going up right now.
I'm gonna stand over here. Oh, there's my. Hi, I'm Tara Heave. This is my first time presenting at this particular place, so a little nerve-wracking. I went to school in Boston, Bunker Hill, and then Leslie University. I'm a huge fan of Hyman Bloom. He's a Boston-based artist, weird stuff, so feel free to Google that later. But be warned, it's weird. But anyways, so this is Skull from Farm. This is actually from, I'm recently married, and so my husband, he's from Puerto Rico, so I kind of thought I was gonna be like, I don't know, like culture shocked, I guess, like when I got there, but I'm from Florida, grew up in, I was born in Texas and I grew up in Florida. And so it was just kind of like, I expected to feel lost, but then it turned out I was super at home. I love being out in the sticks. And so this is actually from his family's farm, and I have no idea who put the skull in the tree, but it was just the coolest thing that I've ever seen. So definitely took a picture, and I was like, I'm bringing this home with me. Really just wanted to like play around with the contrast. I'm definitely like, I've toned it down now, but I'm a goth kid. And so I definitely
Goth is for everyone.
Yeah, like goth is super fun, and so I don't have my parachute pants anymore. But I don't know. I used to skip school in the cemetery because like great place to play hooky. Like no one ever talks to you there. It's great. And also like the architecture. Whew. And so I'm really lucky that there's Mount Auburn and Forest Hill Cemetery. If you ever want to have an amazing walk, go there. It's super fun. And so anyways, so yeah, it's a golden tree. I can move over to it. So as you can see, it's not actually the same painting. I sold this one, so this is actually Freddie in white. And so, once again, you know, I'm a little bit of country girl at heart. And the original Freddie was made in the pandemic. It's actually much larger and much sillier looking, but I love it. I was living in this like tiny little East Boston apartment. It was just the worst during the pandemic. So just the escapism of just a big field. And I always heard stories from my parents who lived on a farm and had friends who were cows. And this is my dad's good friend, Freddie. And so, I don't know, I just like the idea of, I've always wanted to have a pet cow, so can't necessarily have one in the city, so I painted one. And so, yeah, that's Freddie. Do you guys have any questions?
I'm loving how you have so the skull in the tree, it was just something you kind of came upon on the family farm?
Yeah, I took a picture of it originally, and so I was like, oh, this is sick, and so I like to just like take little pictures. I have some more stuff coming out that it's just like street scenes from when I was in San Juan, like, oh my god, it's so freaking beautiful.
And I gotta ask too, you chose two bovine paintings. Was it you were trying to theme it for the night, or
you know,
were they
it
just the
kind
ones
of
that spoke to you the most to the show? Or?
Yeah, because so Freddie, he originally came out in 2020, but I made this one like in the last 2 weeks, because I sold the other one, and then I didn't really think I was going to get into the show, and then they were like, oh hey, and so I was like, oh, I should really present something. So I made him, and so it just kind of came together that way. But I would be lying if I said that I didn't love George O'Keeffe, so there's a little nugget.
I love the cow, and I think that he almost has the eyes expression is very human. And I feel like it's very personified. And I wondered if you were working on that, or
You know, that's the funniest thing. I'm so glad that you said that, because actually Freddie in orange, the one that I sold, this isn't the greatest picture of it, but it looked really, really fuzzy. Like it was like a little baby cow. Like people were losing it, and actually it was really cute. And then my very first one that I made, a little bit of a flirt. Like, I don't know, I did like a little too much side eye, and it was like, ooh, I'm gonna keep it forever. But yeah, this one, I don't know, I feel like it's like wise. eyes. It like wants to tell me something. I don't know what it is. It's Scout.
I feel like you have such soulful eyes. Like they have such a personality. I love it, and I love the duality and like how serendipitous it is that you have like the cow skull and then the cow here.
Thanks. Yeah, no, I like the Persephone. Like you can be from the underworld, but like with
Yes. Thank you, Tara. All right, so our next artist is going to be David Horn from Fairhaven. Hi. Look at your, yes. Look at your artwork up.
Oh, okay, that's what's.
Were these originally painted, or were they lithographs?
These are
Sorry, prints. I didn't know if they were like prints of a painting or if they've always been printed. I'm perfect.
these were watercolor paintings.
Oh, cool.
Do you want to put them all in the same easel or separate?
Hot now? I'm worried about this. I got a feeling the security guard outside can hear me. I'm very loud. Thank you, New Bedford Light Fine Art Club. Thank you, moderators, Nevin and Taylor and Brendan. Here's a short biography. My name is David Horn. I'm the inventor of the Hornsmobile, and more about that later. My age is 63. I've been doing this for about 40 years. I've had several interesting careers. I'm an industrial hygienist. I'm a ship's carpenter. Most of my adult life, I wore a hard hat. This school is my alma mater. I'm a Corsair. I'm from Pittsburgh. I'm a pirate from way back, but I digress. I received a BFA in the sculpture program, and I own a small sculpture shop up on Arnold Street. It's the yard that has a crane and the big steel sculptures in it. When I'm there working, I advertise on Facebook, and I set up a stand on the sidewalk and call it a yard sale, so you might see that. I've got a pocket full of business cards. Anybody, please take them if you'd like to reach me. But about 8 years ago, I met some women who encouraged me to be in an arts and crafts show with them. And I now participate regularly in several arts and crafts shows throughout New England. I still marvel at the turns in the road. I celebrate diversity. My artwork is always diverse. It's multidisciplinary. I use the craft booth to exhibit my paintings as well as crafts. There is my stone carving. There's academic on plein air paintings. There's steel garden art. There's toy puppets and kites, to name a few. This year, I have toy cars. Presently, I have a modern art installation up at the Gallery X, and one of my classmates in the sculpture program is Chuck Houck, and I'm pretty humbled by he and his friends' commitment and perseverance to make that club happen. It's been around since about 1980. I encourage everybody to go up there, and it's a good time. I also have a submission being judged right now in Boston. It's for the renovation of Copley Square. The sponsor is One Boston Resilience Project, and their theme is loss in the wake of that tragic bombing during the marathon. My submission is a full-size piano keyboard made of marble and granite that would be set in the ground. And that's about it. In conclusion, I encourage all of you to take my card, and if you want, buy these prints. I have them for sale all the time. And but I guess I'm reaching out to the shop owners and the gallery owners. If you think this is a good fit, these are priced for the consumer and the tourist, and if you want them in your shops, see me. We can work something out and commission these. These were very small watercolors that I did quite a few years ago before it was an actual park. But thank you all for listening to all of us, and if you have any questions, feel free to talk to me.
So do we have any questions for David? Go ahead.
I just want to say how lovely I think these are. So these are originally watercolors, but you have lithograph prints here. So you have them available to like a wider audience. I think the way that you handled the architecture and the light and shadow is just so delicate and beautiful and really phenomenal work.
I like doing that, and I like drawing straight lines. Lots of pictures.
Yeah, it takes a special kind of brain. Like,
It's so, I can never wrap my head around
linear perspective is, I feel like it's something either you have it or you don't, and you definitely have it. It's precise and crisp and just wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you.
So the next artist that we have is going to be Meads, if I'm saying that correctly. Meads, all right. And the two that we have here are going to be Pack of Pickles and Social Constructs, which are two super they're adorable. Tiny little guys. So, and also, Meads, you are the last artist, so I think these are a little bit on the smaller side. If we leave them on the easels, people will be able to come and take a closer look at that.
Hello, my name is Meegs. That's spelled M-E-E-G-S. I use they, them pronouns. Recently, I've been spending a lot of time alone in my own studio that I just opened up this summer at Kilburn Mill. So you can find me there. If I'm not there, slip a note under my door. I do respond to all notes. These are designed for little nooks and crannies as like home decor. I personally love working with ink. It really forces me to make a decision. And one of the things that I have a really hard time with, and actually my second job is a professional soccer referee, and I'm making decisions every single second, multiple times a second. So off the field, I have to practice that. And the way that I practice that is a lot of the times through my drawings. If you have any particular questions about which themes these deal with, ask me afterwards. I'm not super great about talking about the personal stories that I've worked through, particularly with these pieces, but I do design them specifically with people in mind. So if you want to know their story or a little bit more about mine and why you might want to have this in your nook and cranny in your home, please see me directly.
Do we have any questions, comments from our audience? I personally would like to know, like, if you have any artists that really inspire you. I feel like it's giving me a little bit of like Keith Haring vibes or something like that.
Yeah, I have seen a bunch of Keith Haring in New York City when I go visit there. Honestly, I have ADHD, so I have a lot of different inspirations at the moment. And because of that, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but if you go to my Instagram, you can see a lot of where I pull my inspiration.
Awesome. Yeah. I would definitely recommend like checking out all of our artists in your brochure. You can find their information, their social medias. You only get to show 2 artworks here, but I know all of you have like vastly more and different things online that we can check out later.
And that brings us to the conclusion of the presentations. Right now we're going to experience what we like to call the afterglow. This is the mix and mingle portion of the night where we want everybody to go and talk to the various artists around. I would also like you guys to take a quick look at the last page of your brochure. There are 2 QR codes on there, which means you can find the place that they live on the internet. One of them is for subscribing to the New Bedford Light, and the other one's for donating to the New Bedford Light. Your donations keep us going. This is a great thing. It's an awesome platform for artists to get their word out, to show the artwork to the community. And if you want to know when we're doing our next one, it's not on the books yet, but it'll be next year. Subscribe to the newsletter. That'll have all the upcoming events that we're going to be having in the future, where Taylor and I and the rest of the New Bedford Light will be there with new artists every month, or as long as we can. All right, guys, thank you for coming. One last thing, I am going to be doing a live painting that is not my painting, it's your painting. I want everyone to be able to contribute to it. I have paints and brushes, so if you meet me in that corner over there, you can add some to the painting, sign it, and become part of our community painting. All right, thank you guys so much.
Thank you, and a big thank you to New Bedford Light for having us.
Thank you, everyone. And also, there's still some snacks and stuff. Help yourself to some hummus and water, and mingle and chat about New Bedford arts. Thanks everyone for attending.